Most families searching for the best Royal Caribbean ship for a family of 5 start with searching based on a ship they saw online or maybe a Facebook group recommendation. And that is exactly how they end up on the wrong vacation. Here is something I learned the hard way. Not every Royal Caribbean ship has water slides. There was one time that we had booked a cruise in the Mediterranean, and we found out that the ship did not have them. That was a real disappointment for the kids. And knowing that ahead of time could have helped us avoid the backlash from the kids. We sold them one thing, and now finding out reality was another thing. What looks great in the photos is not always what your awesome, unique, and maybe slightly complicated family actually needs. For families of 5 and 6 who have tweens and teens that are opinionated, the gap between the right ship and the wrong ship is the difference between a family vacation that ends with memories for a lifetime and one that had the potential to, but certainly didn't. I'm Stephanie from Your Best Yes Travel. I am a Royal Caribbean Master in Adventure, as well as a certified Sandals and Beaches advisor. I work specifically with families of 5 and 6, the families that do not fit the standard vacation mold, families with teenagers who have opinions, tweens who are done with kids clubs, and moms who are done planning trips that almost work. Once you say yes, we handle the rest. After booking Royal Caribbean cruises for families like yours, there are a few things I've learned. The perfect vacation comes down to 3 things most people do not think to research before they book their cruise. First, there are the ship classes, because not all Royal Caribbean ships are built the same, and with 7 different sizes and their own unique features, it matters for you, for your family of 5 or 6, especially those who have older kids. Second is the room availability for your family size, because the options that actually work for 5 to 6 people are not always readily available so that you can find them yourself. And third, activities that keep tweens and teens engaged without having to manage them or beg them to get off their phone, because a bored teenager on day 2 makes a family vacation not much different than any other week at home. Get even one of these wrong and the trip would have worked. Almost. Royal Caribbean's fleet spans several ship classes, and they are not created equal for families with tweens and teens. The Oasis, Quantum, and Icon class ships are the largest and most feature-rich. The Oasis class, ships like Harmony, Wonder, and Symphony, as well as the newest class, Icon, which includes Star and Legend. These ships were built for families who need a lot of options, multiple pools, water slides, teen-specific spaces. And without having to get Broadway tickets to New York, there is a spectacular Broadway entertainment, and it's perfect for the whole family. These ships give your tweens and teens enough to do that they won't be bored. And maybe, just maybe, they'll finally put down their phone and start making eye contact again. These 2 classes are where you want to start. In between Oasis and Icon, there is the Quantum class ships, Odyssey, Anthem, Ovation, just to name a few. This class of ships takes a different approach, which includes activities that are more high-tech. They're more sophisticated, such as bumper cars, a skydiving simulator, and an entire indoor activity complex. These ships tend to land better with older teens who want something that feels uniquely experience-driven. There are older, smaller ship classes where the family activities are significantly limited. My first instinct would not be to send a family of 5 with teens and tweens onto one of those ships. That's a conversation that I'm having before anyone starts searching. You don't need to memorize the ship classes by any means. The point is just to understand that the ship you choose sets the stage for what's possible that week for your family. Learning about your family and your preferences is the very first conversation I have with every client so that I know what to match them with, especially as a Royal Caribbean Master of Adventure. Here's where it gets interesting, and here's where most families of 5 find themselves booking what appears to make sense, because what you see is not always what you get. Once you land on the right ship class, the room options completely change everything. For a family your size, I'm not even looking at the same categories every DIY mom is searching for on the Royal Caribbean website. The 5th person problem shows up hard in cabin configurations and pricing. Standard cabins are built for anywhere from 2 to 4 people. The moment you book for 5, the pricing structure totally changes. The room options change, and the price that looked reasonable stops making sense when you add that 5th person. The options that actually work for 5 people and the pricing behind them, that's one of the most misunderstood parts of booking a Royal Caribbean cruise. That's a whole separate conversation. And not to make things more complicated for you, but it's that conversation that usually determines whether a family of 5 or 6 books the right thing for their family, or freely just spends money on the wrong configuration without even realize they're doing it. The third thing, and the one that determines whether your teenagers actually have a good time or just tolerate the week together, it includes the ship-specific activities for those tweens and teens, as well as the whole family together. Royal Caribbean has dedicated teen spaces and awesome experiences that even the parents can enjoy with them on most of their larger ships. It's not another kids club with a minimum age. It's actually teen-only lounges, outdoor decks, as well as programs built for the teens from 13 to 17 years old. Everything changes for the rest of the vacation when they find their independence on board. Teens have their own space without parents hovering over them. But here's what most families do not realize. The specific activities, for example, the flow rider access, the laser tag, the bumper cars, the skydiving simulator, these are only on specific ships, not all of them. Knowing which ship has what amenities and activities before you book is something I check for with every single client. It's not something that surfaces easily in a standard search. For kids who want to know what to expect and even what's available, walking them through what is on the ship before you board, letting them pick a few things specifically they want to do, try, or experience, that conversation before the trip is worth more than any amenities list. It creates excitement for everyone, and a kid who is looking forward to a family vacation shows up completely different than one who is just told, here's where we're going. I'm not going to give you a bunch of ship comparisons. There are cruise review websites that do it far better than I can in a 5-minute video. What I can tell you is that where I start the conversation for a family of 5 with tweens and teens right now in 2026.
There's a quiz in the description that takes like 2 minutes. Whether you already know what you want to do or you're still figuring it out, you should take the quiz. If you're right, you'll have the clarity to actually move forward. And if you're surprised, you'll be glad you didn't book the wrong thing.
The Oasis-class ships, Harmony, Wonder, Symphony, are proven performers for families like yours. Harmony is just one of the ships our family has sailed, and it's the one that constantly comes up. We have awesome memories from that trip. Harmony is being upgraded this year, which is really exciting. Star of the Seas is the newest Icon-class ship sailing from Port Canaveral, which is about an hour from Orlando, and it brings everything the newest generation of Royal Caribbean ships offers. And if you're driving to the port or wanting to combine it with a theme park trip, this is a compelling conversation we can have. And if your teens are older and done with anything that feels like a theme park, the Quantum-class ships are worth talking about. They have a different energy entirely. The right ship for your family depends on your kids, your ports, your dates, and your budget, which is exactly the kind of conversation worth having before you commit to anything, not after. If this helped, hit subscribe. I have got a lot more coming for families like yours. And if you know a mom who needs to hear this, share it with her. Next week, we are talking about something I think about every time I help a family decide on a trip. How to know when a trip is actually worth saying yes to. That one is the whole reason this channel exists. Once you say yes, we handle the rest.